You're not crazy. That thought you've been pushing down for months, the one that whispers something is deeply wrong in your relationship, is not your imagination. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what emotional manipulation looks like, how it works inside your mind, and most importantly, how to break free from it. But first, I need to tell you something that most people never figure out until it's far too late. Emotional manipulation doesn't announce itself. It doesn't knock on your door with a warning sign. It slips in quietly, disguised as love, disguised as concern, disguised as someone who simply cares too much. And by the time you start feeling confused, exhausted, and somehow responsible for everything that goes wrong, the pattern is already deeply embedded in your daily life. The cruelest part, you start doubting yourself before you ever doubted them. There is one emotion at the core of every manipulative relationship, and it is not anger. It is not sadness. It is shame. A slow, invisible shame that makes you feel like you are never enough, never patient enough, never loving enough, never good enough. And that shame becomes the chain. Understanding this is the first step towards something most victims never find clarity. Let's talk about what actually happens inside a manipulative dynamic, because the mechanics matters. A manipulator doesn't operate randomly. Every action, every cold silence, every explosive reaction, every sudden burst of warmth, it is all calibrated. Consciously or not, they have learned that controlling your emotional state is the most effective way to control your behavior. When you feel guilty, you apologize. When you feel afraid of losing them, you comply. When you feel grateful for a rare moment of kindness, you stay. The cycle is precise and it works until you see it. So here it is. The first pattern to recognize is called gaslighting. You bring up something that hurt you instead of being heard. You find yourself defining your own memory that never happened. You're too sensitive. You always exaggerate. Slowly, your own perception of reality becomes unreliable to you. You start fact-checking your feelings before you even express them. You rehearse conversations in your head to make sure you won't sound crazy. That rehearsal, that anxiety before speaking is not a personality flaw. It is evidence of something, and here's what you need to ask yourself right now. When was the last time you expressed how you truly felt without calculating the consequences first? Because there is something else happening beneath the gaslighting that almost no one talks about. And it explains why intelligent and strong people stay in these relationships far longer than anyone around them can understand. The second pattern is intermittent reinforcement. This is a psychological mechanism that makes emotional manipulation more addictive than most people realize. The manipulator doesn't treat you badly all the time. If they did, living would be simple. Instead, the pain alternates with genuine warmth, with laughter, with moments so beautiful they make you question everything you felt during the dark ones. Your brain, wired to chase unpredictable rewards, becomes hooked. The good moments feel more intense because of the suffering that surrounded them. You are not weak for staying, you are human, but you deserve to know the truth about what the cycle is doing to you. It is rewriting your identity. People inside manipulative relationships often describe losing themselves gradually. Their opinions become uncertain. Their friendships fade. Their ambitions shrink. Not because of one dramatic event, but because of 1,000 small moments where their sense of self was quietly undermined. You're too much. No one else would put up with you. Without me, you'd fall apart. These words are not expressions of love, they are architecture. They are building a prison out of your own insecurities. So, how do you identify this clearly? There are 3 questions you can ask yourself starting today. First, do you feel more anxious around this person than peaceful? Relationships should, at their foundation, feel like safety. Second, do you take responsibility for their emotions regularly, even when you have done nothing wrong? Guilt that appears without cause is not conscience. It is conditioning. Third, have you stopped sharing parts of yourself, your dreams, your opinions, your truth, because you already know how they will react? That silence is not peace. That silence is surrender. Here is where most advice stops. Here is where this video goes farther. Knowing the pattern is not enough because intellectual understanding alone doesn't break the emotional grip. What actually creates the shift is reconnecting with the version of yourself that existed before the relationship redefined you. That person is not gone. They are simply buried under layers of self-doubt that were placed there deliberately. And when you begin to hear their voice again, even faintly, everything starts to change. The moment you name what is happening, the manipulation loses a significant portion of its power. Not all of it, not immediately, but enough. Because shame survives in silence and confusion. It cannot survive in clarity. The second you call it what it is. Not a relationship problem, not a communication issue, but a pattern of control. You stop being a participant in the cycle and start becoming an observer of it. That shift is everything. Now, here is the thing I promised to tell you at the beginning. The thing most people never figured it out until it is too late. The reason emotional manipulation is so difficult to identify is not because it is subtle. It is because we have been taught that love requires sacrifice, that loyalty means staying, and that if a relationship is hard, it must mean it is worth fighting for. Manipulation exploits every one of those beliefs. It uses your best qualities, your empathy, your commitment, your capacity for forgiveness against you. Your strength became their weapon. You are not in this situation because you're broken. You are in this situation because you are capable of deep love in a dynamic that was never designed to honor it. The path forward begins with one decision: to trust your own perception again. Not all at once, just enough to ask the question. Just enough to stop explaining away what you feel. Just enough to give yourself the same compassion you have been endlessly given to someone who was never truly giving it back. Clarity is not cruelty. Living is not failure. And you finally seeing the pattern for what it is, that is not the end of something. That is the beginning of everything.